Hello and welcome back to another episode of Oblivion on Nyxus Gaming. We are here in the town of Highcross, just north of New Sheoth in the Shivering Isles, and we're here for a little Nyxus guide today. In the last episode, we covered a quest called the Museum of Oddities, which is very painful and difficult to do, and a lot of suffering with it, and I feel like the quest we're covering today is not as bad, but it is still a difficult one to complete, and it'll help if you have just a little help with this quest, so that's why we're covering it today. When you get to Highcross, if you ask the residents around, like that guy or the Argonian that should be running in circles and constantly interrupting you, don't ask why she's not here right now. You'll learn about someone else in town named Miralee, and how she's obsessed with plants and animals. Now, at night, you can find her in her house over here, but during the day, she's just going to be wandering around the fields, and I think I saw her right over here somewhere, so let's ask her what's going on. There she is.
You're new here, so I'll try to be patient with you. I am compiling a taxonomy of every living thing in the Shivering Isles. The weather, changes in the moon and stars, and their interrelationships. I must not be interrupted. My work requires the highest degree of concentration. I hope I won't have to repeat myself. I have no time for idle chatter with dilettantes. When I'm finished with the Encyclopedia Sheothia, you may study it to your heart's content. My work is far too important to trust to you.
And you know, it turns out she won't actually give you the quest.
So?
Unless she likes you, and she definitely doesn't like me, so let's change that, shall we?
See? Was that hard? You're offering to help me with my research? Well, I suppose I could find a use for you, despite your lack of training. Here's the list of things I need. Get me everything on it. Try to remember where you found it so you can tell me. It's important.
Alright, and with that, she gives you a list of everything that she needs in order to finish her little taxonomy thing. So let's go ahead and find her list. I, Miralee Olvin of Highcross, will pay for samples of the following items, the sum of 10 coins each. As I only need one sample of each, I shall not pay for duplicates. And pretty much all of these here are gonna be just various alchemical ingredients that you find throughout the Shivering Isles. Now, the best way to do this is to probably try and come here to Highcross early on in the quest line, pick this up, and just any new alchemical ingredient you see as you're playing through the quest line, just go ahead and grab it and remember to bring it back to her here in Highcross. If you're not doing that and you're doing it all at once like I did in my playthrough, then it's going to help to know the best places to get all of these things. So that's why I'm here today. Let's get started. Starting off here in Highcross, you can get 4 of the ingredients that you need really quick and easily. In the middle of town, you'll find Alocasia. If you turn to the right and look in front of Runs in Circles' house, you'll find Worm's Head. This is also in front of Miralee's house right there. On the tree between her house and Bruscistonis' house, you'll find some Hydnum Azure, just growing on the side. And you'll get the giant spores from that. And just in the archway next to it, you'll find some Aster Bloom. If you head just down the road from Highcross to the ruins of Ebroca here, you'll find a handful of more ingredients that you need, mostly in the form of enemies that you'll need to fight in order to get their drops. Now, I can't guarantee that you'll have the same monsters spawning outside here, or that you'll get what you need the first time you kill these things. But if you don't, you can always head into the dungeon itself and find more of these guys. The first one we're going to fight here is a Shambles. Now, what we need from this guy is some bone marrow. He does have a chance to drop a bone shard, which we don't need. We'll come back to that one. If you don't have any loot or any luck getting the bone marrow from the shambles, don't worry. The other enemies that can spawn here are a skinned hound. And from that, we need a houndtooth. You can also find a wandering flesh atronach somewhere. Where did it go? There it is. I knew it was here somewhere. And from that, you can get the void essence you need. While you're here and outside as well, right next to the entrance here, you can grab yourself some red kelp gas bladder. And real quick, as I mentioned, this shambles showed up as soon as I entered Ebroca itself, and it does indeed have the bone marrow we need. There are a number of plants that you can only get in the Dementia section of the Shivering Isles. That being said, though, there is a much easier place to find most of them, and that's not in the Shivering Isles at all. If you just head to the Strange Door location in Cyrodiil, just east of Breville, then you can find a lot of plants here on this island, including the Worm's Head and a few others that we've already gotten. But most importantly, if you check here, you can get the black tar you need. You can get the fungus stalk, a blister pod cap, and walking down here just a little bit, you can also get your congealed putrescence. That's not all, though. If you walk inside the door to the fringe, just to this opening area here, you'll find some withering moon here. And heading down the path just a little bit, if you look to the left here, you'll find these strange things here, which should give you some orca digestive slime, that's the word. To the right, if you look up there, and I can get up there, you get your swamp tentacles. And one final note here, you can find some grummites walking around, and if you kill them, they have a chance of dropping some grummite eggs, which is another thing you need. If you don't get lucky with them being dropped from grummites, they should be kind of common. You can also find these around in grummite nests all over Dementia. I know there's a big nest right over here, probably over here, just anywhere near water in Dementia, you can probably find these eggs. This one's also sort of exclusive to the Dementia side of the Shivering Isles. And more so, it is usually only found around settlements. We are here at Fellmoor, which is the highest concentration of them that you can find in the entire map. And they're these water root pods. You'll pick them for the pod pits. And like I said, you'll just want to find settlements that have these things. I would honestly recommend just coming here because it's not too far from the fringe. If you swim out a little ways from Fellmoor towards this island here that's right about here, you may have the opportunity to come across a Scalon, which is another enemy that we gotta kill in order to get its fin for Merrily. These next few ingredients can supposedly only be found in Dementia caves, so I did my best to try and find one cave that had all of them, but I could not. So we're going to go to a couple different ones. The first of which is going to be the Blackroot Lair, which is just outside the fringe here, so it should be easy to get to. And from the entrance, if you just take a right here and follow the tunnel, on the left you'll see a thorn hook. And that gets you that, but if you keep going a little bit further down to the right here, you'll find the next thing, a rot scale. Then, if you head just down the road from Blackroot into the Knotty Bramble here, you'll find yourself a couple more ingredients. The first of which is going to be the Screaming Maw here, which apparently, according to the wiki, should only show up in Mania caves, but that just goes to show you that the wiki isn't law. It's just going to tell you where to mostly find them. They can have exceptions. The real reason we're here, though, is that this cave has Watcher's Eye in it. And that was part of the problem. Everywhere I found rot scale and thorn hooks, I could not find Watcher's Eye and vice versa. So that's why we had to go to 2 different caves for these ingredients, but they're both kind of along this little path that we've been taking for all the Dementia ingredients anyway, and that covers all of those. So let's move over to the Mania caves for those special ingredients. Switching over to Mania, we are here in the Dire Warden, just a bit up the path from the Fringe, and the main 2 ingredients you're going to be looking for here are Screaming Maws, which we already got one from Dementia, but we'll take another, and then Flame Stalks. Both of these ingredients mainly spawn in Mania caves. Now, while you're exploring this cave, I'm pretty sure I heard the sound effect from me getting that. Flamestock, okay, yeah, I did get that. It didn't pop up on the top left. Just wanted to make sure. Anyways, while you're here exploring this cave, you might want to take a quick look around and see if you can find a Gnarl while you're here, because that's another enemy that we're going to have to kill in order to get its Gnarl bark. The final 2 ingredients that we're going to need to bring merely are both from monsters, and both of these monsters can be found pretty commonly just roaming around Mania. Randomly, of course, so I can't guarantee that you'll find this one in the same area I'm at, but this is a Hunger. And what we're looking for from this guy is its tongue. And our other enemy that we're looking for is an Elytra. Now, if you can't find many of these roaming around in Mania, you can always find one outside of Dunroot Burrow if you haven't killed it before. And this one, it glows green. Don't worry about that. That's just because of this dungeon next to it that you need a specific thing from the green ones to get through. That's the Feldew. We aren't looking for that. We are looking for the Elytra Ichor. Now that is all of the ingredients we need to gather for Miralee. Let's go bring them back to her.
Do you have any new items from the list? Excellent. I'll just take them. These are perfect for my research. Thank you. Now go. Shoo.
And with that, she should take everything we have. Yes, very slowly. You'll see it all trickle through on the top left there for her. After you give her a few items, you'll have access to the second part of this quest. But it's highly recommended you finish all the ingredients first, because this second part can be very buggy. So let's go ahead and talk to her about that.
I don't care if you... Remind me to ask you about my bestiary. In the meantime, what have you found for me? Liar!
Once you get that bestiary option, she should show it here in her actual topics.
My bestiary? Oh, yes, I want to start one. I'd like a Baliwog to begin with. You just get it close to me, and I'll take care of subduing it. I might accidentally kill it. If that happens, just bring me another. Once I have it, I'll make sure it's worth your while. I have some spells I can sell you if you have no way to command the beasts yourself.
So this next part of the quest involves you taking actual monsters back to this village for her to subdue and use for her bestiary.
Would you like one of these?
For this, of course, you're going to need a command spell, and if you don't have one, she's willing to sell one to you, and it's based off of your actual skill in illusion if you're able to buy the expert one. If you aren't high in it, then you can't get the expert one. You'll be stuck with one of the lower ones.
A bargain at twice the price. When you bring them to me, I intend to wait until the spell wears off to capture them. I enjoy the challenge.
And now we have to go find a Baliwog for her. Baliwogs are generally found near the coast, near water, so I would start looking just north of Highcross for one, because whatever enemy you find, you want it to be close to Highcross. You're going to have to lead this thing all the way back to town from Miralee to subdue. And the spell that she gives you, even the expert level 1, it only lasts for 30 seconds. So you're going to be casting it a bit if you want to go with that approach. Remember, you don't need the spell. All you got to do is get it back to town, and once it gets hostile to you, it's going to follow you back whether it wants to be commanded to or not. One thing I would recommend when doing this, I would try and stay away from steep hills like this, because as you saw there, they do get a little bit confused with steep hills. But once you got it in tow, you just kind of want to bring it back and have her subdue it for her bestiary.
You'll have to get me a new one if it dies.
What?
And unfortunately, that is a thing that can happen. She can just kill it at times, or one of the other villagers can run up and kill it for her, and you'll just have to get a new one. So before bringing this back, I would also definitely recommend doing a quick save. That way that doesn't happen.
You've caught me a Baliwog. I can't wait to study it. Let's go inside and I'll pay you.
And there we go. Once she casts that spell on it and it turns all white like that, she now has the creature. I will say, if you don't want to worry about the villagers killing the Baliwog, well, I think you see the solution here. Another good way to do it is to try and bring in the monster from this south side of town here. But you can't always guarantee she'll be on this side of town. So you still might have to pass the villagers. Once you do get the first monster here, you might want to pop a little quick save, because this is where the quest can get buggy. I mean, first off, her house is just completely locked, but you can still just walk through it.
Well, do you want your pay or not? This is a wonderful start for my new bestiary. Well worth the price. Here you go.
And now, once she's paid you, this is a pretty big bug. She won't always follow you out of the house. She may end up getting stuck in the house for the rest of the quest, which, as you can probably infer, probably starts some issues with bringing the monsters back to her. And I actually ran into that issue in my playthrough of the game. One thing you can do if she is stuck in the house, you can cast a frenzy spell on her, or you can attack her and run out of the house. Both of those will lead her outside for when the next monster is there, but then when she goes to pay you again for the next monster, she will most likely get stuck again. So my best recommendation is, like I said, just quick save before you go into the house and get your payment. But now that we've gotten the Baliwog back, let's find her. I don't know where she actually went. There she is. Let's see what she wants next.
I suppose it is about time for me to add another creature. I have hopes for an Elytra. If you see one, could you bring it around for me?
And now she wants an Elytra.
I'm glad that's over. You've kept me from
Which
my
is
work
sort of
long enough.
unfortunate, because I killed one right about there, but you can find these things roaming just about all around this town here. It's a big spawn place for them. You also have the Dunroot Burrow there that you might be able to find a few around. Just, again, remember, don't go too far away from the town, because you will have to lead it back. I actually got really lucky since I killed one right about there-ish, somewhere around there. I figured I'd have to walk pretty far away, but like I said, they spawn pretty close to town, so just a little bit down the way here, I've found another Elytra that I can bring back to her. Now, the Elytras provide a little bit more of an issue. You might want to use the command spell on them, because they actually have a ranged attack, and even while they're chasing you, they can still shoot you with that ranged attack. But they also lunge at you, which might make them move a little faster. Either way you want to do it, and just bring it right back up to town for her.
You'll have to get me a new one if it dies. You'll have to get me a new one if it dies.
And there we go, finally.
An Elytra. They're tricky. I'll make sure to magically bind this one to me. Let's go to the house to get your reward.
Once again, she's going to lead you to the house for the reward. Don't forget to do a quick save and try and forget about the squirming Elytra there. I'm sure it's in no pain at all.
I'm getting weary of the same two beasts. All they do is scream when I experiment on them. Do you suppose you could get me a Gnarl?
And now she wants a Gnarl, and I'm going to be honest, I have no idea where a Gnarl can actually spawn around Highcross, so I'm going to go searching, and I'll let you guys know where I find one. I'm sure it's just another random spawn in the area, so I might get unlucky, I might not, we'll see. It appears I did get a little bit lucky with this one, as it is just outside Ebroca, right near Highcross, so let's start trailing it back.
Try not to kill it. You'll have to get me a new one if it dies. Ha! Try not to kill it. Ah! Try not to kill it. Try not to kill it. A Gnarl. You've earned your reward. Follow me. Yes, I know. They're all looking quite tiresome. A Scalon would sure spruce things up a bit, don't you think?
She wants us to get her a Scalon, and just my luck, I'm pretty sure I saw one down by the water here while I was getting the Baliwogs, so this should be just an easy up the hill and hope she does not kill it. There it is, right there. Again, these things are like the Baliwogs. They spawn mostly near water, so if you come down here and just follow the coast, you should eventually find one. Be a little wary. As you can tell, they do turn invisible, and I have no idea where this thing is right now. It'll probably attack me in a couple seconds. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you're just going to want to do your best at leading this thing up the hill to her while it turns invisible and lunges at you. But as you can tell, it is a fast mover until it starts walking like that, and it should get up there eventually. Wow, I think that's the first one that she didn't kill first try.
This Scalon looks a bit mangy, but I suppose it will do. Your reward is in the house.
And for one final time, you gotta follow her into the house to get your reward.
You have proven to be quite the hunter. Take your bounty. You've earned it. My collection is complete. Thankfully, you won't be interrupting me anymore.
And with that, she just kind of pays you and sends you on your way. You don't get anything special for doing this quest. I mean, at maximum level, she's giving you 620 gold per creature and 10 gold per ingredient, so it's really not worth the gold either at that point. But it's... I don't know, I can't defend this quest. It's just kind of unnecessarily buggy and difficult. And 2 people lost their lives because of it, as you can tell. But that's going to end off the episode for today, if I can find my words. Thank you all for watching. Next time on Nyxus Guides, we're going to tackle something a little less complicated in here in the Shivering Isles. It's going to be more collectible based and not just a quest. So thank you for watching. See you then. Bye-bye.